label Cannonball Run KZN 2010 is proudly brought to you by Drysit Environmental. It's the very first Kwa-Zulu Natal Cannonball Run. Documentation done at the Cubana in Florida Road in Durban. And everybody looking forward to a great event. A big presence there from Team Yellow.
This is the second time we're doing the Cannonball Run down at the coast. We got a very, very late invite. Looking forward to it. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last time we were here.
Great. Well, that's the object of the exercise, of course. Joining me in the commentary box, the convener of the event, once again, Ross Crichton. Ross, a pretty good turnout for a first event in KZN.
24 cars entered the KZN Cannonball Run this year, so quite a good start for a first event, Hendrik.
And as per usual, at documentation, all the cars are stickered out and numbered and made sure that they are spick and span for the next day or two of driving around KwaZulu Natal. All under the watchful eye of the speed cops, and as usual, they, I suppose, will play a big role as well.
That's how we get our money for charity. Those boys do a great job.
We put them all in the boot. The guys behind us can see them.
He's optimistic, he's making a race out of it.
Yeah, the decals were all sponsored by Green Sky, so that was really good to have that donated to us, and obviously reduces some of our costs, which makes the event far more affordable to be able to raise that money for charity.
Now, the format of the event, of course, Ross, the usual. It's a mixture of high-speed tests, slow-speed tests, and most importantly, a number of tasks that have to be completed every day.
Yeah, there's obviously a clue book that they get given, and they have to fill in those points and try and get as many of those clues as possible. So, and that's how they accumulate the points. Of course, they then lose the points through incorrect time and distance.
What's going to happen today is that we're going to split you up into two groups. Okay, it's going to be odds and evens. Odds down the bottom here, evens on the far side. Okay, we've got two events happening this morning. You've got the slalom and you've got the speed stretch. Both events are a flying finish. Okay, so once you get past there, you need to hit the brakes.
Impressive looking entry list. That's only the first half, and a nice collection of cars as well. We'll get to know them much better as the event progresses. The Alfa Brera, one of my favorites, of course. We've got a few Chev Luminas there. Porsches, of course, as always. Noble M400. We saw a short little shot of it. We'll talk about it a little bit longer as the program progresses. And there's a couple of Audi R8s and even an Isuzu KB250. Interesting to see how the two Peters progress. The first test, or the one of the two tests at the same time at the Toyota test track between Durban and Pietermaritzburg, this high-speed run, and as usual we have Mr. Black there in his black Lumina.
Indeed, the evergreen Mr. Black. We love having him back on the event. This is the Cell C sponsored Figure 8 challenge at the Toyota test track. And just a big thank you to the Toyota test track guys who gave us the track for free, obviously for the charity angle, so a big thank you to them. But the guys had a sighter. We took them around all 15, obviously split the two groups into one and odd and evens, and then we took them around that track first at a slow pace, and then they got the opportunity to let it rip. Then up at the top there, as you saw the R8 there, that was the special effects stage, which the guys had to do a slalom course, as you can see here, and then at the top of the slalom do a 180 and return back down without losing any Energade bottles.
I noticed the weather conditions. Track surface slightly damp. This would be a little bit more tricky than usual, I would imagine.
Yeah, Hendrik, it was a little damp. It was actually a little chilly that morning, but it got better and it dried out a little bit, and the guys had a lot of fun.
The Lumina Ute, SS Ute, also with a 6-litre V8 engine, produces some 270 kilowatts of power, and a fun thing to drive. I'm sure a fun thing to drive also is the Noble M400.
Yeah, it's car number 18 of Destination. They had an absolute blast in this thing. It really is quick, Hendrik.
Very interesting car that. It's the track version of the M12, and the body and the chassis built in Port Elizabeth at High Tech Automotive. I'm sure we'll see plenty more of that car, and we'll see plenty more of this car as well, the Lamborghini Gallardo.
My favorite sounding car in the world.
I thought you were going to say that.
That's Greg Parton from Drysit Environmental. What an amazing looking car and sounding car, Hendrik.
I can't argue with that. What an amazing sounding looking car is this, the little Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, this is Jean and Chris. They came down from Johannesburg to take part in the event. They have that car sitting in Durban though at their holiday home, so they grabbed that and on he went.
Now there's my favorite car, I think, the Alfa Romeo Brera. The prettiest car on the road as far as I'm concerned.
Moving right along, Hendrik, to the Cell C entered vehicle of Zandile and Ziningi. And they came on at the last minute onto the event and had an absolute blast.
And here's the R8. The Audi R8 with the 4.2 litre V8 engine. Listen to that for sound, man.
No, that is pretty special. Isn't it made by Lamborghini though?
Well, it's on the same floor plan basically as the Gallardo.
Okay, so what you're saying is the two best sounding cars on this event are both Lamborghini.
And they run the same engine. So at the end of the track speed test, it's the Lamborghini, no surprises there, edging out the R8 and the 350Z. But a bit of a surprise in the slalom event with the Lamborghini actually coming out on top again, ahead of the Porsche Boxster and the Audi A4.
Books at the end of the dirt road. We're just about to turn onto the tar road.
This is the Protea Hotels entered vehicle of Philippa and Alex.
And on the phone there, one sees it so often, and I think this is. Listen to this.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think I found the clue book.
I think this proves quite clearly that women can't drive and speak on the phone at the same time.
Now the competitors are leaving the Toyota test track and getting instructions to head towards Durban.
Right, are you guys ready for this?
Yeah, we have to.
Okay, from now on, no more conversation,
Yeah.
no more chatting, concentrating, looking for signs. What's your Odo reading?
77830.
Okay, so as per normal, Ross, they get the instructions. They've got to follow instructions and find clues.
That's it. This first section was more directional and challenging to make sure that they got onto the right area. There were no actual physical clues on the sides of the road that they had to collect. But there are many aspects to it. So there might be the amazing race aspect where they've got to drive and follow directions or work out clues to get directions. And in other cases, it's just you drive this way, turn left, turn right, and get these clues along the way. Yeah, the guys arriving at Ashley Village in Pinetown where we did a handover.
Run to the checkpoint. Go, run.
Things are getting pretty hectic in that car.
No other cars have had issues.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in that car.
So you shouldn't.
Okay.
Your directions suck.
Can we get some illegal trade going on here?
Where is Richmond Road? Where is Richmond Road on those?
Due to your generous purchasing of dollars last night, we are going to be making a donation on behalf of you guys for 10,000 Rand to Ashley Village. So,
I'm one of the lucky residents at Ashley Village, and just like to thank every single one of you guys wholeheartedly for what you've done for us today. So enjoy your ride, drive safely, drive quickly, but drive safely.
Charity, a big portion of the event, a big part of the object of the exercise.
Yeah, the 10,000 Rand that was donated there went to the purchasing of a wheelchair for one of the people there. So, you know, this is what the event's about. It's about giving back to the community that we travel through.
Okay, and from there onwards to the next stop.
Yeah, Pick and Pay by the sea. The Pick and Pay guys were very kind to give us their parking lot, and we did a gymkhana in that area.
And once again, that should be interesting to follow and see who does best.
Yeah, Jean and Chris in that Jeep Wrangler, just getting their coordinates right for the point they have to go to.
So all of that is legal, using GPS?
Yeah, GPS's map books, you can use what you like. Sometimes I give you enough information for you to put something in, and sometimes I don't, so it can and can't be useful.
Okay, so this is the Gymkhana at the hypermarket. And will the Lamborghini do well again?
Yeah, I hope it does. It did surprisingly well at the slalom there, Hendrik. For a car that I know, personally having driven a few of them, which has a very big turning circle, doesn't allow it to be that nimble. So these more technical events, I would imagine it was more difficult.
Absolutely right. Also, it has four-wheel drive, so it makes it even more tricky for them. 350Z coming in. 3.3 litre V6 engine.
Getting stopped there by Sergeant Chip. So Henrik, what they had to do here was a little dash up the little straight there and then make the turn into a parking situation. They had to stop without hitting any of the cones, or otherwise they would get some points deducted. They then had to reverse from there into a reverse parking situation and then move on and do a little short slalom and do some things with some tennis balls and all sorts of bits and pieces.
Certainly sounds quite challenging. That's the Noble M400. No, the name of the car comes from the fact that it's got a power to weight ratio of 400 horsepower per ton. In fact, it has a top horsepower figure of 425. So it weighs just about nothing and it's got a hugely powerful engine. That's why it's so fast.
Turbocharged?
Twin turbo. And does 0 to 100 in 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, that would do it for me. So as you can see, it's unlike a track event or anything like that. This challenges the guys a little bit more, and it's not just about how much power that you have down on your wheels. It's also how well you can maneuver your own car.
And it's amazing. You will probably notice quite often with these cars that the driver who has to pick up the tennis ball often doesn't park close enough, and he struggles to get out. There's a case in point.
Yeah. Jean not getting it quite right. Chris has got it down pat. Look at that. Oh, well done, Chris.
And of course, this is all against the clock. So every second or fraction of a second that you lose, you drop down the order.
And then, of course, you've got maximum points. So every time you hit a cone, and I think you'll see here that Philip gets it in okay, but as he takes off, he knocks the cone. So that'll get negative points. So he'll have negative points off and obviously your time.
Let's see how he parks. Yep, that's good. That's the way to do it.
He's done this before on a previous Cannonball Run.
So experience does count.
Yeah, certainly does. If you have a look at the results at the end of the day, it's very difficult for a newcomer to put it in top 5 places, but they get a hang of it on the second day.
Interesting that you have a number of people, Chris Black in that black Lumina included, that comes back time and time again to every event. I mean, it's not just the national event.
Yeah, he really just enjoys the event. He enjoys being around other people who talk about cars and are passionate about it. And in fact, his co-driver here, who's not the first time he's participated with Chris before, it's Stuart Langheim. He's actually driving here.
6-litre V8 engine under that bonnet. Beautiful engine sound out of those exhausts. 270 kilowatts of power.
The great V8 on his number plate there.
But clearly he cannot park.
Well, let's just clarify this. It is Stuart who's driving and not Chris. He's really having a struggle. See, old hand, Chris has got it down pat, no problem.
Unflustered. The result of that time trial, Philip Mayer and Sean Pamui in the Porsche Boxster doing exceptionally well there. Almost a second quicker than Andre Larsen and Tobon, with the Noble in 3rd position. Right, off we go now to the next destination as we go on board the Fortuna.
Yeah, this is the car of Mark and Megan. Brand new vehicle, got it just in time for the event and drove it down and took part in the event.
Geometry reading will be taken in the parking lot marked E. But your time will only be stopped at the go-kart track.
Action go-karting. Action go-karting.
Action go-karting.
Yeah.
Where's action go-karting?
At Gateway.
At Gateway. Like the upper level, huh?
Fantastic.
So is it easier to just go and ask for directions or to actually read the directions in the book?
Well, this is the Cannonball Run. You know, you're supposed to try and find your destination as easy as best you can with as much information at your fingertips, and whether that's through your GPS or whether it's through Google on your phone or whether it's asking somebody on the side of the road, all the better for you for getting it right.
Right, we're off at the Gateway Shopping Centre, of course, now, and they're going to do some go-karting.
Yeah, they had to park in a specific car park, so you could come in any side from Gateway and you had to find that particular parking lot, and then the co-driver had to run and hand in the clue book and then go for the drive in the go-karts. But what was interesting here is that although the kilometers stopped when you arrived, the time was still running. So you may have arrived, but your time was still. You still had to go run and find the go-karting place before your time stopped.
Hi. Okay.
Now, is this a question of just a straight race against each other, 5 laps?
It's against themselves, actually. So you would get 5 laps, and the fastest lap of those 5 was attributed to you as the fastest time.
And driver and co-driver?
No, the co-drivers didn't have to. It was a choice either or. And the idea really was to try and get the co-drivers to do it, because obviously the drivers are driving all day, and this was a fun activity for the co-drivers to do.
Well, it's a fun activity, period. I mean, these go-kart tracks do very well in general in most major centres. People love coming here and enjoying some speed in a safe environment, and that's certainly a car that you cannot really get injured in at all.
No, it's quite safe, and of course the action karting guys were very good to us, and they've just received, as you can see there, those karts look pretty new. They're only now about 3 or 4 months old, so real good quality experience.
Looks like a good layout also, the circuit. Challenging track, some fast corners and some tight corners. Really tests your driving skills, or the lack thereof. And at the end of this test, out on top came the Chef Lumina crew of Alfie and Louis, ahead of Frank and Byron, Carl and Elsaby coming in third position.
Just going to carry on straight, eh?
Right, leaving Umhlanga now, carrying on northwards.
Yeah, heading towards Stanger, and the Cell C clue that I built into the clue books, was on the back of that box, and the guys were running around there trying to find it.
The thing is, it can be anywhere in a 100-meter radius.
And then just opposite this, on the other side of the road, there's a little drain with a lock on it, which I gave them, and I said for 5 points, which is the maximum points you get per clue, was within a 100-meter radius of that, you would then find this lock, and you had to tell me who made that lock. Huge pandemonium.
I could see, very, very confused, all of them. Right, on to the next task, and this is an interesting one.
Yeah, heading to the little town of Donnell, where the guys had to jump out. The driver had to dress up in drag, complete a short course, and then go and sit on his co-driver's lap and give him a kiss for the camera.
Well, that's all good and well if you're a mixed crew. But
Yeah.
what happens if you're a same-gender crew?
We don't discriminate, Hendrik. So it was girl on boy, boy on boy, girl on girl. It was really messy, actually. There's Carl Siegel from MBH Energy, one of the sponsors, getting stuck into that lipstick. He looked a bit too comfortable with that lipstick on, actually.
That's not comfortable at all, I'm sure.
He's forgetting it's a race. Team Yellow, of course, were all boys.
No.
There were no women amongst them, so that must have been quite fun.
This looks like a Porsche parade, actually, as they leave towards the next destination.
Team Yellow making up most of them of Porsches, but of course the one Audi R8 finishes them off.
I think you just need to stay on the main road and put on the right-hand side.
They look like they've got lost. Everybody now pulling in at the Mtunzini Golf Club, and this is going to be a very interesting challenge for them.